Betsy from Two Paths Tarot. I thought I'd pop on today and share my top 5 tarot decks, which wasn't easy to choose because I like all of them really, and they're all my favourites in different ways for different reasons. So the way I've decided to do it is I've chosen 2 decks that I've had forever, and then 3 decks that are quite new but I'm enjoying working with at the minute. That might change next week or the week after or whatever, but at the minute these are the 2 decks that the first 2 are decks that I've had for a long time, and the other 3 I've received in the last few weeks, so I'm enjoying getting to know them and work with them. So my number 1 is a choice that I know it probably isn't very popular with a lot of readers, but it's the Hanson Roberts deck, tarot deck. As you can see by my box, it's all battered because it's been well loved. I like this deck mainly because of the size, because they're a handy little size. They sit in my hand really comfortable because they are little. I'll show you a few while I stood here. I took these around when I do readings outside of the home because they're so handy just to shove into a handbag and away you go, and you can read them on the smallest of surfaces because they are such a small size, and I like Rider-Waite themed decks anyway, so I got on really well, and these done some lovely readings and always accurate readings, so I know that it's not a deck that is really thought of highly from a lot of what I've seen, but for me it was one of my go-to decks for many years. I've had this about 4 or 5 years I should say, and it's just one of those, whenever I need to do a reading that I need to be accurate, or I'm reading for other people outside the home, then this is one that I would pull out. So that's my number 1, and that's the reasons for why, or number 5 I should say, and that's the reason why that one is in my top 5, because it's been such a good little deck for me. It just had to be in there. Number 4, again, I think my box has seen better days, and it's my Morgan Greer Tarot. Now, I've had this a couple of years as well, and I think most of you have probably seen this as a backing. I've seen this one, I should say. This one again is one of my go-to decks when I do readings at home for people, and I've always found them really good, very accurate, and I use these and nothing but these at home for an awful long time. For a long time I only ever had 3 decks, this one, the Hanson Roberts one, and Rider-Waite original. That's all I had for a long time. But these are ones, this is coming in at number 4 because it is a deck that I like to use. I love the fact that there was no borders and everything just sort of stood out. But I found them very accurate in readings that I gave. So that's why they come in at my number 4. But I really do need to sort, because I leave them on a shelf, I like to leave them in boxes except the ones I'm working with, but as you can see it's a bit battered, so I need to sort something out for them. So my number 3 is a relatively new deck that I got only a few weeks ago, and I saw Kelly Bear using them and she was showing them, I think they was in her top 5. Tower of the Magical Forest. Now, such a cute deck. I have done a video on these actually, but I have trimmed them. But I've also took the name out as well, because they are so Rider-Waite. You know just by looking at the image what it is. You don't need the titles to be there to tell you what it is. And these are so cute and so fun that I've loved working with this. I mean, I've not done no readings from any other people other than myself with them, but they've always been really spot on with me, and they're so cute that I have fun just fiddling around with these and just shuffling. But because now I've trimmed them down, they're such a cute small size. They're about the same size now as the small deck that I had. So this would be another deck that I can just chuck in my handbag and off I go. And because the pictures are so cute, if I'm doing readings for anyone who's a bit nervous about having a tarot reading, these are ideal to pull out because, you know, they're just cute animals, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? What deliver a message. But like I said, I need to do some fuller readings with them to see how they'll work and how they read for other people. But for me so far, they've been stunning and I love them. And I just love the little lamp. But so they're my number 3. That's my number 3, the Tower of the Magical Forest. And coming in at number 2 is, I mentioned these before for my October deck, it's the Wildwood Tarot. And I just love this. I haven't done the borders on these yet, but I just love these. And I'm really enjoying working with them. Again, because I'm only just getting to know them and working with them, I've only really done readings for myself and the odd card pull just for people on the groups and what have you. But I haven't actually done big spreads or anything with these. But that's something I will be doing. It's just finding the time, one thing, and working with so many decks at once, which I really shouldn't. I keep putting them back on my unit, so I need to spend more time with these. But I'm thoroughly enjoying doing readings for myself, and it's just the images. I just love the images on them. So that's comes in at my number 2, and that's because, like I said, I am having so much fun working with them, and I could just sit and look at the images all day. They speak volumes to me. I've got a reason to do later today just for my daughter, so I might just use these just to see how these come up in a bigger reading. I love this card. So that's my number 2, and it's the Wildwood Tarot. Now my top deck that I've chosen for my number 1 spot, I only got, I think, last week, and I'm so enjoying them. The Everyday Enchantment cards by Poppy something or other. I haven't got the box with me, but that's the back of them. You'll know them by the back, I should say. I have trimmed the borders off mine and rounded the edges off. I haven't edged them yet, but they're such a big card. I mean, they're still a good size now for my hands, but with the borders, I found them near on impossible to try and shuffle. And I know when I was getting to know them and shuffling and what have you, they was really giving me hand cramps, and I couldn't quite manage to shuffle them that way, the way that I'd normally shuffle. I couldn't do it, so I had to shuffle this way, and even then, because of the cardstock, because it's quite a thick cardstock, I struggled. So I wasn't going to take the borders off because it didn't bother me too much. I was colour coordinated and whatever for the suits, but I had to because they was just not manageable comfortably in my little hands as they were. So like I said, I have trimmed them, and I just love the diversity of this deck, and the images, they just stand out for me. They speak to me. And it puts another layer on as well, and I think bringing the tarot into what life is today, and not just tarot decks with the old imagery, really adds a different layer to the cards and the meanings and everything. And I can just pick these up and I know straight away what they're telling me, and they are my favourite deck at the moment. And I can't see that changing because I just love the colours. I love how they pop out at you. I love the messages that they give. And this one has to be my all-time favourite deck card. I just love that. I think that's stunning. And the Moon card again is another one that I really like. and Judgment, because I've always found Judgment a bit of a dodgy card, but this one I just love. I just love. So this one deck is got to be my number one, and I'm sure this is going to stay at my number one. I just love the Hermit card, because let's face it, you know, not many of us would be walking around with a big lantern and a hooded cape on, but we could all relate to somebody studying, taking time out, going with it, and etc. So I just love how they've how Poppy's just brought everyday life into the meaning on the cards in such a good way. And now that they've been trimmed, I love his face. Now that they've been trimmed, and I can actually hold them better in my hands and shuffle them. Though I do find them still a little bit hard to shuffle. I think it's because they're quite a stiff deck to shuffle. But I'm getting the hang of them. I'm getting better. But there we go. So that is my number one deck at the moment. And like I said, I love all my decks, all for different reasons. Two of my choice are ones that have been with me for the last few years, and I just know that I can reach them and they'll give me a clear, accurate reading. And the others are newer ones, but I'm really enjoying working with. So thank you for watching my top 5 tarot, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.